Good morning, students. How are you? Let's start our lesson. Today, the theme of the lesson, scientific and technological progress, interpersonal relations, radio and TV, internet and modern life, the sequence of tenses. In recent years, scientific and technological developments have drastically changed life on our planet as well as our views both of ourselves as individuals in society and of the universe as a whole. Today, science and technology are closely related. Many modern technologies, such as nuclear power and space flights, depend on science and the application of scientific knowledge and principles. Each advance in pure science creates new opportunities for the development of new ways of making things to be used in daily life. In turn, technology provides science with new and more accurate instruments for its investigation and research. Technology refers to the ways in which people use discoveries to satisfy needs and desires, to alter the environment, to improve their lives. Throughout human history, men and women have invented tools, machines, materials and techniques to make their lives easier. Of course, when we speak of technology today, we are looking at in a much narrower sense. Generally, we mean industrial technology, or the technology that began about 200 years ago with the development of power-driven machines, growth of the factory system and the mass production of goods that has created the basis for our modern society. Today we often say that we live in an age of science and technology. According to one estimate, 90% of all the scientists who ever lived were alive and active in the 1970s. This increased scientific activity has brought new ideas, processes and inventions in ever-growing amount. The scientific revolution that began in the 16th century was the first time that science and technology began to work together. Thus, Galileo, who made revolutionary discoveries in astronomy and physics, also built an improved telescope and patented a system of lifting water. However, it was not until the 19th century that technology truly was based on science and inventors began to build on the work of scientists. For example, Thomas Edison built on the early experiments of Faraday and Henry in his invention of the first practical system of electrical lighting. So too Edison carried on his investigations until he found the carbon filament for the electric bulb in a research laboratory. This was the first true modern technology research. In a sense, the history of science and technology is the history of all humankind. Sequence of tenses. The sequence of tenses is a system by which the tense of the verb in the principal clause governs tense of the verb in a subordinate clause. Dependent clause is another name of subordinate clause. If the tense in the principal clause is present or future, it may be followed by any tense in the subordinate clause required by the sentences. Past simple change to past perfect, past continuous change to past perfect continuous. If in indirect speech in the main sentences the verb is in the present tense in the subordinate clauses, the verb is used in the same tense in which is indirect speech. For example, Jane says, I'm reading the encyclopedia now. Jane says that she's reading the encyclopedia now. Tom tells me my sister lost her laptop yesterday. Tom tells me that his sister lost her laptop yesterday. Past sentence. Tom told me that his sister had lost her laptop the day before. Rita thinks it will rain tomorrow. Rita thinks that it will rain tomorrow. Rita thought that it would rain the next day. Now let's do the exercises. Task 1, answer the questions. Task 2, continue the sentences in indirect speech, observing the rules of sequence of tenses. Dear students, if you completed the task, send to Platonus. Lesson is over. Thank you for attention. Goodbye.